Hydro Thunder is one of my top 2 favorite all-time racing arcade cabinets. I love it so much. I bought one here for the Shedcade. This one for me is tied with San Francisco Rush, but they're so different that it's kind of easy for me to say they're both my favorites. In this video, I'm going to play the arcade version. I'm going to do 3 tracks on that to show you kind of an idea of how good the arcade actually is, how it looks, how it sounds, and kind of talk about some of the cool features of it. And then I'm going to go over and play the console versions, the Dreamcast. I am going to do a quick stop on Midway Arcade Treasures 3 on the PlayStation 2, even though it's pretty much just the Dreamcast version. I'm also going to play the Nintendo 64 version and the PlayStation 1 version. After that, I'll talk about what I thought was the best versions. I have an idea in my head of which version I think is going to be the best console version, which I believe is going to be Dreamcast. I played a lot of that as a kid. However, I never really played the Nintendo 64 version or the PlayStation 1 version. In fact, I had to order a copy of the PS1 version just to try it for this video. So let's get into it and see which one comes out on top console-wise. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start Hydro Thunder. This is the arcade, as mentioned before. I think what I'm actually going to do is pick 3 tracks. I'm going to do Lost Island, Lake Powell, and Ship's Graveyard, because I think that's a pretty good mix. You know, for Lost Island, I like to do Rad Hazard. This is a loading screen, by the way, in case you're unaware. The game is loading the race right there. So we do have to take that into account, considering I do not love when not arcade games, I'm sorry, when consoles have load times. I did not like it back then, at least. So that was always a big issue with me for the PlayStation version. I think I'll be beating any of my best times right here. It seems like I'm, a full second behind almost. So I always liked how the tracks were pretty interactive, like the little boats that would pop up that like just happened there where it's supposed to be like a tour. I don't recall if the console versions have that. I gotta take note of that. Hopefully I'll remember to look. I also could not say for sure if there was a review done by GamePro of the arcade. I don't think I've ever found one, but if I do, I will be sure to put it up. Let's continue. I'm going to go to Lake Powell now. Probably one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. This is also one of my favorite boats, Tidal Blade.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go! Superstar. Boosters getting low.
Here comes the boat. Killed a jet skier there, which sucks because I have jet skied on Lake Powell because of this game, almost 100% because of this game. We bought jet skis and my wife and I was like, we're going to Lake Powell, it looks amazing. Drove them all the way out there from Texas. Barely got that.
Time extended. Time extended.
One thing to mention, or that I really have to mention about the arcade version, is the controls make it so much better than playing on the console or any other way to play it, in my opinion. The force feedback wheel is amazing. It's very strong. I actually have mine turned down a little bit because it is so strong. The throttle is really awesome to have, and the subwoofer in the seat really make this experience feel a lot more interactive, I guess, or immersive is maybe the thing. They love to attack you, and really hate to waste my boost right that early, but it works. Another thing we need to notice, by the way, of the graphics is how much of the water spray effect there actually is. Now, of course, this is the benchmark because it is the arcade and it is running about, I guess, the best version possible. I don't think that you can beat this version at all. The amount of water effects were pretty impressive. This was the first arcade game, for those of you who don't know, that actually ran on a full-size PC. It has been confirmed to me by the creator of the game, Stephen Rank. He did see one of my videos, and he did tell me, yes, that's true. It is the first arcade game to run on PC, which is extremely common now. They pretty much all run on PCs nowadays. It was intended to run on a single board system similar to pretty much all other arcade games at the time. But when they went to Midway to tell them, like, hey, this is what we've got so far, they realized we really can't move this over to a single board system. It kind of needs to be on a PC to look as awesome as it actually does. So somehow they talked Midway into agreeing to put computers inside of all these machines, which is an interesting story, and it's kind of like Stephen Rank was probably ahead of his time in that case because, like I said, just a matter of a couple of years later, pretty much every game has a full-size PC in it. One example in my collection currently is Target Terror. It's a light gun game that came out in the early 2000s. It is a full-size PC, has amazing graphics and everything because of the PC. Let's go ahead and drop some initials, and we'll move to... I guess we're going to move to the Dreamcast version next. Alright, so while the game boots up, let's take a look at what GamePro thought of this game. I got it at 4.5 for the graphics, a 4.5 for the sound, a 4.5 for the controls, and the fun factor somehow only got a 4.0. But I think it's a great game. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm sure you do too if you're watching this. So let's dive in and see how it ended up. One thing I did not love, or I've always had a problem with these, is loading the saves and everything ahead of time. It used to drive me nuts. I was always such an arcade purist. It was like, just load it automatically. Alright, so we're going to start with Lost Island. Load time in between the the track selection and the boat selection, but that's fine. I do need to note that I did mod my Dreamcast to run off an SD card, so I have all my games backed up to the SD card. So the load times are faster on this, in this case, because of that. Here's where it usually loads forever, and instead we are racing pretty quickly. There we go. Alright, I do not remember... Oh, there it is. Okay, boost. So this one was actually a really close port of the arcade, in my opinion. The controls are a little wacky, especially with this boat. Man, it feels very jerky, but I am using the D-pad. But you can see the water spray is pretty good. The water texture, I don't know if you want to call it that. The water effect looks pretty good. Lighting looks pretty solid. And, gosh, I gotta get used to this controller. Try the stick. Nope, stick's not much better either. But this looks pretty great. I remember when I bought this, I actually bought the Dreamcast just for this game. And I remember thinking, like, this looks pretty solid and a lot like the arcade. Especially when you have a CRT TV running it. Alright, the boat is there. And I did hear him talking, but it's very quiet. So that's nice to know that I couldn't remember if these still existed, and they do. And the monkey is here, and he gets hit. Pretty dark in some spots, I do recall that. I remember it looking like, if you notice when the boat lands in the water, it almost looks like it has a spotlight down on it when you're in the darker spots, instead of having the whole area lit up, which may be a limitation of hardware, but this is a really, really good port. And if you can only play it at home one way, I would say this or the PC version. And I may show just a quick snippet of the PC version because it's really great, and it used to be the main way I would play it when I put it in one of my arcades. Alright, so we are now going to go to Lake Powell. The sun effect, I just remembered the sun effect is is another thing that the arcade has and does really well, which we'll probably only see a little bit more in this level. But if I remember correctly, even though the effect is there, it does not go behind objects like it does in the arcade version. Whoops, I missed that. So you will see the sun shooting through walls. You'll see it. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Yeah, there it is. It's shooting through the wall on the left side there. The arcade actually had a really cool effect where it would dip behind the wall. It would actually fade just a tad and change its effect. It wouldn't just disappear. It would, like, I guess it was dynamic is the word I'm looking for. Pretty impressive. The sound is another thing that kind of suffered a little bit on the console ports. This one's probably one of the best that I've seen. Nice lighting effect coming from the helicopter there, that's cool. Oh boy. Oh, that's interesting too. The light effect from the helicopter flipping is also included, just like the arcade. Oh boy. Tap the bridge. Yeah, I really can't see where I'm gonna land, or I can't really see anything right here. It feels extremely dark. It does suck they didn't include the sound here where they were saying flight report go or whatever they're saying. I really don't know what they're saying, but it sounds cool. Very dark compared to the arcade. This is a darker level in the arcade anyway, or track I should say. But it is tougher to get used to, that's for sure. And it's not the TV I'm on. The TV's nice and bright. It still looks good. Wow, time already running low? My God. They don't give you any time to mess around here. This is insane. I'm not gonna hit it. Oh, I got it. Okay. A little bit of graphical chug there. Got a little slow, like right here. Looks a little frame rate dip. That's one thing that's really impressive about the arcade. The arcade almost never has any frame rate dips. There's a few spots where it can, but it's not common. It's real slow right here. Can't quite get it. All right, well, I beat my best time there. I do want to show just really quickly the Midway Arcade Treasures version of this game. This is running on a PlayStation 2. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it because it's literally just running the Dreamcast version that's been slightly modified to run on a PS2. Let's just take a look at what Lost Island looks like. Sorry, my camera is having a fit. Does not like the CRT, I guess. We'll fix it in a second here, but let's just get moving. Back up the camera a little, maybe that'll help. Let's see what we get here.
3, 2, 1, go, go.
So while it is running pretty much the Dreamcast version, it already looks brighter. I don't know if they fixed something or changed something with that, but that's pretty awesome to see. Let's get into this dark spot and just take a look real quick. It's still pretty dark in here, but yeah, it's basically just the Dreamcast version. Personally, judging by what I'm seeing here, like I'm torn between the two. I would almost still stick to the Dreamcast version, but this looks pretty good. It doesn't seem to have the same water effects, which is just bizarre. It has very little effect on the water. Don't know why they would have done that, but it's pretty much the same. So we're going to move on to the Nintendo 64 version now. Alright, this is Hydro Thunder on the Nintendo 64. I'm going to look at the GamePro review. Graphics got a 4.5, sound got a 4, the controls got a 4, but the fun factor ended up getting just a 3.0. I guess we're going to figure out why. Speed bumps ahead. I'm reading some of the review right now. While the controls are straightforward and easy to use, you can't program them. Okay, I get that. And there are only two configurations to choose from, blah, blah. I don't know. Let's see what they thought about it, or let's see what I think about it. It looks okay right here. I don't really see anything to complain about. It looks not great, but it looks like a Nintendo 64 version, so let's play it. Here we are on the Nintendo 64 version, playing on a real 64, no emulation, all that stuff. I completely forgot. You actually have to unlock the tracks on the Nintendo 64, so I had to sit here and play a ton of this off camera, but here we are. I'm going to start with Lost Island and see how it goes. No fire above the hard sign. Here we go, we have the loading screen. No audio, of course. I don't have a rumble pack, so we're just going to go with it.
3, 2, 1.
So one major thing I noticed right away when playing this is the game is slow. It feels like it's running at about maybe 75% of the speed the arcade is, maybe even half. It is very slow feeling. It's bright though, the colors are nice, as we can see by that rainbow right there. There are decent water effects. The audio is not horrendous, but it's not great. It's probably on par with maybe the Dreamcast, which is weird because the Dreamcast has CD-based audio. It feels incredibly slow at some points though. This feels really fast compared to some of the stuff I've been playing. Very dark again in these areas, but then again I can see ahead of me pretty far, which is very helpful. I've noticed the water does this thing where it stays blue, just a solid blue color sometimes. I assume that's because it either is trying to load it in, or it can't in some cases. I totally missed that. And we have the boat. The tour boat is here and he talks, which I did not expect. They all seem to make noises and everything. No sun effect. Like there's no orb in the sky that's, you know, a sun ball. I'm surprised if it's able to handle hitting those with how slow this is going. So yeah, even though this area is very dark, at least I can see the volcano really brightly in the distance. It doesn't feel quite as dark as the Dreamcast, but it does not look as good and does not run anywhere near as smooth. Some lighting effects coming through there, which is nice. Even though they're probably more static than, I don't think they can move or anything. I think they're just one piece of light beam coming down. It's still a nice job. Here you can really see that blue water, just a solid blue till you get closer to it. Even that runs kind of slowly, it's funny.
Choose your track.
Alright, let's go to Lake Powell.
3, 2, 1, go!
This track especially has a few points where it really just feels like someone is doing a slow motion cheat or something on the game. It's kind of insane. I never had this as a kid. I always had the Dreamcast version because I was already old enough to work by the time this came out. So I just said, screw it, I'm buying the Dreamcast. But this area in particular is very, very slow, very low frame rate. Even the guy talking is slower than usual. Direct violation of Utah's, you know, it's crazy. So I wonder if maybe they kept a lot of details in, which is nice, but I wonder if they had to lose out on some effects, or quality, or speed is what I should say. I'm sorry. Trying to play and talk is tough. Either way, this makes me almost tired, I've noticed, and I had to go through and play all these tracks to unlock them. I actually feel kind of sleepy is the funny thing, whereas the arcade, I mean, you felt tired playing that, you're crazy, I think. That game is very fast, loud, and immersive. This just feels kind of like more of a calm day on the lake, you know? Oh, I barely got it. Oh, I'm flying. What I think is interesting is there's speedrunners that run just about every version of this game, which is kind of crazy to me. I understand a lot of them aren't going to have access to the arcade machines, so I get why they have to use the consoles, but I was surprised they go back and do 64, PlayStation, everything. Couldn't hit him, I tried.
You are in the lead. Time extended. Looks like we've got company.
Wow, I actually was able to take the train out. I thought for sure that would be something they had to leave out. But maybe that's what I mean about more detail, less speed, I guess, because the game is churning through all this information. Alright, let's see Ship Graveyard. I actually stopped once I unlocked these. I've not played it yet. So, I don't know if I've ever played this track at all on a Nintendo 64.
Choose your crazy. Tidal Blade. Three, two, one.
Right away it looks pretty dark, but it still looks almost brighter to me than some parts of the Dreamcast version. But actually being darker, the sky actually looks a little more ominous. It's pretty cool. Oh god. Let's not run into everything.
Get that power up.
I'm just going to try to run this exactly as I would on the arcade. Which I know I do skip several secrets, like underneath that waterfall straight ahead. But I find I get a better time by going this way. Whoa! Slow-mo hydro is what they should call this.
Time extended. Best time so far.
I can't tell where I am. Oh yeah, jumped there, but... Alright, that was actually pretty good. I bet this game would look absolutely horrendous on an LCD, so if you do go back and play it, try to get a hold of a CRT TV. I think it's going to be best experience there.
Time extended. Best time so far. Hey,
Oof.
you found a secret. Fourth place.
This part's usually very fast. Oh, it's actually going pretty speedy, so that's good. Wow.
Time extended. You are in the lead. Excellent. Finish line, dead ahead.
I gotta say, this looks really good right here. The light reflecting off the water, or the reflection effects, that's pretty solid. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the PlayStation version. I've tried it all of maybe just a couple seconds to make sure the disc I bought on eBay actually works. So we'll see if it's any good or not together, I guess. All right, here we are on the PlayStation 1 version of the game. I am gonna pull up the GamePro review really quickly. They actually liked this version, to my surprise. It got a 4.0 for graphics, a 4.5 for sound, and for controls. And the fun factor got a 4. I really didn't expect them to like this one very much. I personally don't have high hopes for it. Let's get into it. I'm going to see if I can make it look as good as possible. Hopefully it doesn't do that the whole time. I don't know why my camera does not seem to like this game.
Choose your trap.
All right, Lost Island. Let's see what we get.
Lost Island.
I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Maybe that'll help.
Choose your boat.
I don't care for this, where like it doesn't have the.
You're crazy.
It has the fire though, but it doesn't have like a moving video of the boat. But it still has like the cool kind of CGI promotional shots, so that's nice.
Red Hazard.
So spoiler, I have been playing this because I had to unlock the tracks. I was stunned to see it has the loading screen sound. It has a little bit extra. There it is, 8-track cassette player, no go. I still can't make out all of what they're saying, but I can actually hear it a little bit more clearly on here. By the way, take note, the sun is there, and it does have the exact same fade in and fade out effect that the arcade version has. It's really cool to see. So this looks like feces, in my opinion. Well, for the most part, it looks like crap. You know, it looks like that typical PlayStation chunky, polygonal, bad texture look, but it's flying. It is so fast. It is actually a lot of fun to play, and I don't love that the splash effects are different from the arcade, but they actually look really cool and suit the game very well. I mean, this thing moves faster than the arcade for sure, as far as gameplay goes. Oh, I almost missed it altogether. Ah, I couldn't get that. Like, I'm flying. What the heck? The boat is there, and normally it does, the tour boat usually does seem to talk, but I think there's too much audio going on right now. But this game is just insane. It feels like if you took the arcade version, put bad glasses on, and then did a little bit of speed or some coke maybe, this might be the version of the game you'd play. Very cool. So she's ugly, but boy is she fast and fun. Like, this is actually a fun version. I never thought that I would say this, but I think I like it more than the 64 version. I thought for sure this was going to be a really bad one. Wow, I beat my other time by a lot. This actually looks pretty nice. Like, it's chunky and weird, ugly kind of, but the colors are nice. Oh boy. Now, I will say that I think the lowest point of this game to me actually is the controls. They are decent, but they are squirrely, and the game moves so fast that they just don't feel very... I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I feel like I'm barely pulling this out. Which might be good. Maybe it gives you a sense of, like, speed a little bit more. One gripe I have about the audio is, oof, it sounds like I'm constantly stopping and starting boosting. That's because if you hold it down, it just repeats like maybe about a second and a half of the boost sound from start to just full boost, and it just loops non-stop instead of just staying one continuous roaring sound like the other versions have done. Yeah, controls are a little rough to deal with. Oh boy, I'm all over the place. I gotta get this boost. Oh, I'm all over it. Get it. Uh-oh, I'm not gonna get it. Oh boy, now I'm upside down. Hey, I got another boost. Oh, what is happening? Come on, reset me here. They really punish a crash in this version. Alright, let's check out Ship Graveyard. I have not seen any of these again because I unlocked them and started recording again. Man, all the water effects just make, like right here, you can really barely see, which is kind of a nice feature, I think. Holy crap, what is going on? I don't know what happened there. I can't hardly see anything. Oh, I'm definitely missing that one. That's alright, we're not trying to break any records. I'm going to go behind this one and get the longer boost here. Oh, I thought I missed it. Okay. Man, I am flying through here. A huge difference. I fully expected this version to be as slow as, or worse. What the heck happened there? Or worse than the 64 version. I really thought this was going to be just like a chuggy, slow, horrible mess. Instead, it's just not very pretty to look at, but it is more fun to play, I think. Whoa, that was really weird. That did not work as it was supposed to. All right.
Time extended.
Well, there we have it. That's all the versions of Hydro Thunder. I'm going to give it a second to think about my final thoughts, and I'll wrap up the video. Well, there you have it. That's all the versions of Hydro Thunder. Of course, the arcade's the best version by far. I think console-wise, if you're going to play it at home, play the Dreamcast version. I was stunned by how kind of bad the 64 version is. It looks pretty good, but it plays so slowly. It's kind of boring for that reason, and I guess that's why GamePro gave it a 3.0 fun factor. It makes more sense now. The PlayStation 1 version is the one that surprised me the most by far. Yes, it's not very pretty looking, but it is fast, and it makes the game much more fun. I love the fact that it had the little loading screen snippet of audio that they play on the arcade version. It's the only console version to have it. The PlayStation 1 version really, really blew me away here. If I had to rank them, for me, it's going to be Dreamcast, Midway Arcade Treasures 3, and then I'm going to give the PlayStation up above the Nintendo 64. I'm going to put the Nintendo 64 dead last just because it's so slow. It makes the game not really fun to play at all. So if you're going to check them out, maybe try them in that order, or just try them all if you have the ability to. It's actually pretty fun to check them all out. Let me know in the comments what version you think is the best. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more arcade content, and I'll see you guys on the next video.